Well, the day is finally here. For all of you that have been eagerly awaiting to get your hands on Apple's Vision Pro headset, the day has finally come. The pre-orders for the Vision Pro headsets are alive right now. And you can actually go to Apple website and put in your order for the Vision Pro headsets. Apple Vision Pro pre-orders have started online. Deliveries begin February 2nd. Yes, just a couple of weeks away. So there's a lot of information that came out as a result of the pre-orders. We've gotten a lot of technical information about the headset. We know how much it weighs. We now know the different options we have, costs, Apple Care costs, repair costs. All that information is a lot of information that we have been waiting for. And so we finally got our hands on that information. So that is what I'm going to cover for you in this video today. I'm going to break down all of that stuff, give you all the information that we've been waiting for eagerly. But before we do that, if you're new to this channel and enjoy this type of content, please do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that notification bell and hit that like button as well. All right, now let's jump into this video. So Apple Vision Pro orders have started online and deliveries will begin February 2nd. So as of recording on this video, they went online orders the 19th, which was Friday, January 19th, which was a Friday. So you can go online to start getting your pre-orders. But here's the thing with the pre-orders, you can only pre-order an Apple Vision Pro if you have an iPad or an iPhone. So yes, Apple did continue with that strict ecosystem. You have to be a part of that. You can't just have an ID. You actually have to have an iPhone or an iPad in order to actually pre-order it. Because what it does through the process is it scans your face and it has to measure you so you can get the right size that'll fit you. So interesting decision for them. I mean, I'm not surprised, but still an interesting decision that they decided to lock it down where you had to have an iPad or an iPhone. So I figure, I know a lot of Apple heads, Apple fanboys are going to be the ones that jump on this right away. Some people who want to look for something cutting edge, but you have to be in the Apple ecosystem already in order to pre-order this. There's no other way around it. You have to have an iPad or an iPhone. And I figure that it's a lost opportunity to reach out to some people who may not be in the Apple ecosystem already and may be curious about this. They probably heard about it and they may want to check it out, or they may have already decided to, to purchase it because they've seen what it could do, and this is probably their first introduction and maybe to some Apple products. So I figure you still should have been able to pre-order it without having to already be in the Apple ecosystem. So I figured that's a lost opportunity because that could have exposed some new people to the Apple world, some of the Apple products. So that maybe would have got them to check it out a little bit more than they probably would have if they weren't, in the ecosystem already. So I think that was a slightly a missed opportunity from Apple, but hey, they make the decisions. They make bigger bucks than me, so they have to live with that decision. And maybe, I'm sure they will still be okay. Let's go over just a little bit of details right quick. I expect that the Apple will have produced few Vision Pro headsets compared to its iPhone and iPad releases. Yeah, I would like to know what that quantity is. I know I did read somewhere that an Apple analyst said that he expected it to be about 500,000 units that they will ship in 2024. So that we don't know how many they will have at launch. My guess is maybe 100,000, 200,000 maybe. But again, I don't have those numbers in front of me, so I can't really give you all the details about that. The cost of the model is $34.99. That's the base one. That comes with 256 gigabytes. The 512 gigabyte is $36.99, and for the 1 TB edition, that is $38.99. All right, so that's just your base cost because you got some other costs that we need to add on top of that. We'll talk about Apple Care for $4.99 for this. So it is another article. I have a number of articles I'm going to go over that breaks down how much this thing actually costs to repair if you don't have Apple Care. But again, $4.99 for Apple Care. Then there's a travel case that Apple official one. It costs $200 for a travel case. We're talking about just a big old bulky plastic container to put this in, and they want to charge you $200. Well, there goes that Apple premium. That goes that Apple tax for you. We know how Apple products tend to be a little bit overpriced compared to anything else. And there you have it right there for a case, $200. All right, the process for pre-ordering Vision Pro is more involved than any other Apple device, too. So it's essential to have certain things ready. You have the iPhone or iPad with the Face ID and latest update, Apple Store app installed and up to date as well. Information about your prescriptions for reader glass inserts, if necessary, a valid unexpired prescription from a U.S. eye care professional. So, like I said, this is definitely different from any other tech product that we've seen before, in terms of just even to get into it. So, let's go over here. So, Apple Vision Pro. So before, we didn't know all the details about the technical specs about the Vision Pro headset itself. We had limited information, but now we have a little bit more information about it here. So we have here Apple Vision Pro refresh rate is up to 100 hertz, has Bluetooth 5.3, and we even have more technical details right here. So, already talked about that. It also has 16 gigabytes of RAM. That's across all units. There is no variation between that. So every model will have the same amount of RAM in there. Only difference you're going to have is what storage that you want with it. Talk about the display here. Most notably, the display has been detailed, although some questions remain. Apple said that it has 23 million pixels. It's using micro OLED this time. Not this time, but for this one. So it has 7.5 micron pixels pitch that covers 92% of DCI-P3 color gamut. So very good. The refresh rate is 100, between 90 hertz, 96, and 100 hertz, depending on whatever you're watching. You also have the two different processors in there. You have the M2 processor. That should be your main processor. That's the current Mac Mini 2 processor that has an 8-core CPU and 10-core GPU. Then you also have the R1 processor in there, which handles all of the sensors. I think this thing has like 12 different sensors on there. So they have a dedicated chip just for that alone. That's called the R1. In terms of, it has Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.3. We also were talking about, remember hearing about the size and the weight of this thing when it first came out. So now we actually know how much this weighs and how it actually compares to other headsets out there on the market. So we know right now that it does weigh 650 grams or 1.5 pounds, almost 1.4 pounds. That's about the weight of the iPad Pro, I want to say. So imagine lugging that around your head. Remember, and this does not include the integrated battery. Here we go here. This is an article out of 9 to 5 Mac where we get the details about how much it weighs. So here's a little table right here. You can see that there. So Apple Vision Pro, again, 21.2 and 21.9 ounces. Grams right here, 600. So compared to the MetaQuest Pro, the MetaQuest Pro is 25.5 ounces, 722 grams. But keep in mind, everything on this list, except for the Valve Index and Apple Vision Pro, has their battery integrated into the headset. Apple Vision Pro has a separate battery that you have to connect to here. Then there's a dongle that comes down. You can attach that somewhere else, either on your waist, on your waistband, or in your pocket or something. And that itself weighs about 300 plus grams. So imagine the whole thing together, if you pack that battery in the headset, would be over 950 grams. So whew, that's pretty heavy. Excuse me about that. So the MetaQuest 3 is 18.2 ounces, so 515 grams. The MetaQuest 2, 503 grams. The Valve Index, 810 grams. Yeah, so the Valve Index is heavier with that, but again, the Valve Index is a different beast in itself, and it's a little bit older at this time anyway. And you got your PlayStation VR 2, which is 560 grams. Again, all of those except the Valve Index has the battery integrated in there as well. So remember, Apple Vision Pro does not have the battery. It's a separate connector by itself. I thought there was, yeah, so it's about 300 and something grams in there. So pretty heavy. Here's a video here. I'm not going to play the sound, but this is one of the videos that Apple released. Just giving you an introduction into the headset itself. Just a quick guided tour. So pretty interesting. If you have time, definitely go check that out. I will link that for you in the description down below, so you can actually go check that out on your own right there. Just let that video play while I continue to talk about some of the specs and whatnot. So let me get back to the repair cost a little bit. So I told you Apple Care itself was $499 that you didn't have to purchase, but if anything was to go wrong, The repair cost for this could cost up to $2,399 if you do not have Apple Care. So that is not cheap. That's a good over half of the cost of the unit already without it. So it says right here, without Apple's extended warranty and front glass alone itself is $799. So if you make a mistake and moving around, you crack your head on something, $800 to replace just the front screen. Remember, there's a lot of tech going on that screen. And if you're not familiar with that front screen, how it shows the person, the wearer's eyes, so you're not actually seeing through the Vision headset itself. What it does is it has cameras and sensors inside the camera, so it grabs your vision or it grabs the your eyes and everything, and it projects them on the outside of the screen. So you're not seeing through it, and what the actual person is seeing is not your actual eyes. You're just seeing a representation of it based on all the cameras and sensors inside the camera that's protecting that image on the outside. So this screen is fully decked out, fully packed with a lot of stuff. So again, $800 just to fix that. It's ridiculous. They have two options when requesting repair or replace for Vision Pro: cracked cover glass or other damage. In the event you only break the Vision Pro glass, that's $798 with Apple Care coverage deductible, or $799 without it. Whew. Yeah, however, Apple Care covers unlimited incidents and the entire headset plus accessories. If you have to replace the entire unit, you're looking at $2,399 without Apple Care. That situation, you have savings of $1,600 with Apple Care versus going self-insured. So it's definitely depending on your usage. If you're going to be maybe rough housing with this, or if you have kids, or maybe that you want to allow to use this, you may want to opt in for getting the Apple Care cost, as an additional $500, as opposed to something that was to happen to it. Again, it covers anything other than just glass as well. So if it's a short or one of the accessories don't work right, then that will be covered for you. So it's definitely something that you may want to look into and not forsake if you do pick up this headset. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the cost of that. Again, the case itself, I just want to show you this case real right here. So this is the case officially from Apple. $199 travel case for a headset. Well, obviously it holds a headset and that. $200. Why in the world would they charge that much? But it's Apple. They know they can get away with it. But there's no way you should be charging $200 just for a carrying case for something like this. This thing better be made of freaking steel or something. And it has inflatable airbags in it if I drop the damn thing, because $200, I know it's to protect your $3,500 investment, but goodness gracious, $200. I mean, that's literally, that could be a $50 case, but they can get away with it because it's Apple. But here's some other options for you from their store. Yeah, the Vision Pro battery pack, again, that's the $200. The built-in battery pack holders, $49. Zeiss optical inserts range between $100 to $150. The solo knit band is $99. The dual loop band, $99. The light seal is $20. A light seal cushion, $29. So the cost for this thing can really add up depending on how you want to accessorize it. I mean, obviously it makes sense to go and grab a carrying case. There are other ones out there in the market. I think there's a third party one that's selling for less than half that price. So I would definitely probably go that route. I believe it was like $89 or something. I would rather spend $90 on a carrying case than $200 on a carrying case, because to me that makes no sense to spend that amount of money on a carrying case for something like this. I mean, that's just it's just not them. I'm actually speechless. So, but let's continue on. We already talked about that. We talked about the specs a little bit. We know how much it weighs. Let's get right to this. So we all know that it's controlled by your eyes and your voice or whatever. Your Optics ID, all that provides iris-based biometric authentication. The headset includes AirPlay support up to 1080p, allow you to mirror your Vision Pro view to any AirPlay-enabled device, including iPhone, iPad, Mac, most Apple TV models, and AirPlay-enabled smart TVs. So as previously known, the Vision Pro offers up to 2 hours of battery life overall, and up to 2.5 hours for video playback. So I guess that lines up with some of your high-end gaming devices out there, like your Steam Decks or whatever. About that long for using something like that. So you're not. This is not something that you're going to walk around for 5 or 6 hours, obviously. So depending on what you're doing, but again, 2 hours, 2.5 hours of video playback. It does have HDR10 support, spatial audio, obviously with dynamic head tracking. So there are little ear pods like that sits right outside your ear when you put them on. So that's going to give you your surround sound. So it's not going to cover up you're not going to have earplugs in your ear. It's going to still allow you to hear everything around it, but it's going to pipe that sound right into your ear for you. So obviously Apple had thought about a lot of the design and features of it. So again, February 2nd, you will get your pre-orders by then, but I'm already hearing that as of yesterday when they launched the pre-orders, they were selling out pretty fast, and the actual ship dates are actually being shipped out at least a month right now. So if you're probably still on the fence about getting one, you probably want to try to do that sooner rather than later, because the later you wait, the longer your ship date is going to be for that. So figure that out. Yeah, so we talked about the cost, we talked about the specs of this. So yeah, so that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about with the Apple Vision headset. Let me know if there's something you are interested in, and if you are, what is going to be your use case for this? Let me know down in the comment section. I definitely want to know who has this, who is using it, how they're using it, and what are their experience like so far. Because again, this is something new from Apple. This is not part of their DNA. They actually, what's really interesting is that they chose to dive into a sector that is really not thriving or striving when you're talking about VR, AR, or mixed reality experiences. That sector is not doing that well. So this is a pretty interesting decision for them to go into this, which I just wonder what their success will be, how many units they're going to sell. I think when this first was launched, I did do a video covering that. I gave my thoughts and ideas about how many units I think that they would sell, what would be successful for them, why did they choose to go into this. It's still puzzling to me, but again, the pay grade is above me, so they figure they know what they're doing. But I don't know if this is going to be something where how it usually is the case where there's not a market until Apple enters into it. There really wasn't a smartphone market until Apple did it. There wasn't really a iPad market until or a tablet market until Apple entered into it. So I don't know if this is going to have the same effect. I don't think this is going to, have the VR, AR, mixed reality sector jump off because Apple has now entered it. I think the problem with this is that the price alone is just, you automatically just reduce the level of entry. Most people are not going to pay $3,500 for a niche tech like this in a sector that's not really thriving. My initial thoughts was they should have released a cheaper model in first, just to test the waters. They could have skimmed back on a lot of the features just to get the cost down below $2,000 at least. But they decided to jump right in and jump for the $3,500 models. That's just a start. There's even rumors and speculation that they were thinking about doing an even higher end model. Well, they also heard that they may be doing a cheaper model. I think it would be definitely smarter to do the cheaper model before they actually jump into a higher end model. Because I don't think that there's a market for that. But we shall see. Again, I am very curious what the numbers will be, how many units they're going to move on the Apple Vision Pro headset this year, and then even beyond that. But again, let me know what your thoughts are down below. Really interested to see what you guys think about the Vision Pro headset. Again, thank you for taking time to watch this video. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button, the notification bell. Again, if you know somebody who's interested in tech, please share this with them as well. Also, don't forget to head over to the website at sounds30.com, where I curate and aggregate tech news from around the web, covering Apple, Samsung, Google, Android, computing, and even more tech news, all at the website at sounds30.com. And until the next video, guys, stay nerdy.